What's up, everybody? This next guest doesn't really need much of an introduction. He owns 8 salons. He's an amazing guy, an international educator. Jaye Edwards, thank you so much for having this chat with me. I hope everybody enjoys the video. If you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy the clip.
3, 2, 1, and I'm just going to give a little clap just to make things easier for me. Okay, Jaye Edwards, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Really good. Thank you for coming on. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we're here now. So look, I know about you, but for anyone who's watching, just tell me a little bit about you, about yourself, about what you do.
So my name's Jaye Edwards. I'm owner and founder of Edwards & Co Salons along the East Coast in Australia. As of right now, I have 8 locations. And I just launched my second biggest space, which is 36 chairs in Brisbane, and it's our best and most beautiful space yet. I have a global education business. We do face-to-face and online workshops. Our biggest audience right now is in the US. And more recently, I just launched my first product in my first product in my range of products, which is a dry texture spray, and I've named the range Jaye, just because I thought it was really simple.
Really, really clever name. Very well thought out, obviously. You just touched on there that you have your own 8 salons.
Yeah.
Is that new one that you just opened? Is that the one that you're filming your stuff in at the moment?
No, so I actually haven't been to the new one yet. I haven't even got to see it finished because of COVID. So I finally got a border pass, which allows me to cross our state borders in Australia. So I'm heading up there next week to spend a week there, and I will do some filming there. But we only opened it 3 weeks ago.
Wow. So what's the one that you're recording in now?
In this, like right now?
No, well, the one that you have been recording your how-tos.
Oh, that's my headquarters. That's the biggest salon that I have. It's a 60-chair salon in Sydney, Surrey Hills.
It's an amazing, beautiful space.
Yeah, the new one's actually better.
Is it? Yeah, the new one.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Jaye, how does someone go from being a trainee hairdresser to be somebody who travels the world and owns 8 salons?
So I'll give you the medium-sized version of that story. I opened the first Edwards & Co salon around 7 years ago. And before that, I had bought into another salon. It was the one I was working at, and they offered me a partnership. So I took it. I paid off $50,000, which would give me 50% partnership over a year. And at the end of the year, it actually all fell through, and I lost all my money, which was devastating. So I kind of went into overdrive, and I was like, fuck, what do I do? So that's when I opened the very first Edwards & Co salon, which is a beautiful warehouse space in Sydney, Surrey Hills. I originally opened with a business partner, but again, that wasn't working for me. So I bought her out 3 months in. And then I guess like I still do have the need to always do better. I don't know why or where that came from. Like, I didn't have a great upbringing, and my parents weren't all that supportive or encouraging. But I did have a cousin who always said that I could and would do better. And I just think having that one person always telling you that you're going to be better, do better, and have more and be more is really, really helpful. Because not long after I opened my first salon, only 9 months, I opened my second salon, which was in a whole different state. And I built my clientele in that state from Twitter, because I was big on Twitter at the time. I don't use it anymore, but it worked for me then. And then we kind of got into a rhythm. So every like 6 months to a year, we'd open a new space. And I was so driven. I'm very financially driven, and growing up, I didn't have much money and I lived in shitty houses. So I was very financially driven, but I was also driven by the point of being able to provide opportunity for other people. And when I was 20, I think I was 25, my dad passed away from motor neurone. And that's inherited in my family. And then when I was 26, my sister also passed away from it. And I went and got tested to see if I had the gene, and I do have the gene. So I think that that kind of helped push it along a lot further and made me try even harder, because now like I could get sick at any point in time. And the moment the moment I would get sick, I'd probably have 6 months to a year to live. So I am always of that thought, just to like to get the most out of whatever I'm doing, and just to like enjoy the ride. Yes, some things are shit. Yes, some things you have to work really hard for, but like there's probably right now in my life, there's probably not that many things that like I want or like I don't have, if that makes sense. And I've made it that way so that I can enjoy what I have. So I think that like, and that's why I spoke about existentialism before, because like just think about like, what am I leaving behind? What am I doing this for? You know, is it for me? Is it for someone else? So I think that really drives me now to be better and just to have more and just enjoy it as well. And then like, you know, what I want to leave something behind one day. So I'm always thinking about like what legacy or like what am I leaving behind for the industry, and because you know I want to leave behind that, you know, hairdressers are intelligent people, and you know in Australia we're one of the lowest paid industries, and my whole goal is to increase that and to make sure that we're not the lowest paid industry, and that we're, you know, worthy of earning a high salary, you know.
Oh my God, Jay, that is incredible. And I'm so sorry to hear about your sister and your dad, but wow, what a story. That's unbelievable. And we touched on it there. So we were talking just before we started recording about the different types of intelligence that you feel kind of suit you. And you mentioned logical, mathematical.
Yeah.
You clearly have a big drive for money. You clearly have a good understanding of money to end up owning 8 salons. How do you find that you have come into such wealth that you can open a salon every 6 months to a year?
So don't get me wrong, I'm probably right now right in this second in about $1.3 million debt. And that really doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like money's money, it comes and goes, who gives a shit? But I think a lot of it, I kind of say to my team, like, it's common sense. And they go, what the fuck do you mean it's common sense? Like, it's not common sense. And honestly, I never had any formal business education. I finished school in year 10. But just some things I just do what feels right. And a lot of the time it seems to work. Right now I do have a COO who it does financially manage the company, because it is at a point now where I won't make very smart decisions and I will probably lose more money than I can make. So I did hire a COO about 6 months ago, which has been really, really, really good. At the end of the day, like I am the owner still, and I still make the last decision, but he's there to help guide me into where we should invest the money, you know, how we should grow. Is it the education? Is it making products? Is it opening more salons? Whereas I can't look at a spreadsheet. My mind just goes blank if I look at a spreadsheet, and I'm like, I can't do this. Whereas he can look at a spreadsheet and then be like, okay, this is what it means.
I think that's really important because you just said there, and obviously that I was talking to your PA too. Your delegation skills are clearly quite good, and they're very like, it's just a really smart move to look at something like your business and be like, these are the things that I'm doing well, and these are the things that I'm not doing well. And you've clearly picked a great set of people to put around you to pick up your slack on where you're not best, and it just gives you well, I would imagine it's just to give you the possibility to put your energy and time into what you do best.
I think it's, you know, I would love to think that I'm good at everything, but the reality is I'm not. And I think it's really important for hairstylists to realize that and understand it. Like, I honestly, in my management team alone, I think I've got like 28 people. And that's like salon managers, PAs, COO, general manager, social media manager, accounts person, marketing person, PR person, you know. And I didn't start with all of them. I gradually built them up. I probably in my second year got a social media manager, and that was a godsend. Like, we were able to grow our social media so fast and achieve so much with it. And I'm not saying to everyone like go out and get these people and you'll make loads of money, because that's not how it happens. You do have to do everything first, and then you do it to a point where you can't do it, and then you hire someone else to take over. I just think that has been like so important in the growth and success of Edwards & Co. as a brand.
That's unreal, and it's just so nice to hear somebody that, from an outsider's perspective, is so successful, like you, and you're admitting that you can't do it all. And I definitely fall under the branch of like, oh, I want to do everything, I want to make sure I can do it all myself. But you're so right, you can't do everything yourself, especially when you're running at a level that you are at the moment.
Yeah, and it'll just burn you out. Like at the moment, because of COVID, like we're a little short staffed. So I'm like on the floor doing clients, I'm like taking meetings, I'm, doing so much. And it actually gets to a point where it's like, I can feel my brain like getting to a point where it won't cope anymore. So I've got to stop for a minute, And I think it's so important when you get to that point that you really recognize it and be like, okay, let's like take a break.
How do you find mentally doing everything that you do?
Mentally, it's really exhausting. Like, I don't get me wrong, I really, really love what I do. There are moments when I know I'm working too hard and I will be so exhausted that all I want to do is cry. And the biggest thing for me is like, I would like to be friends with my employees, but then you have to manage them. And I do have people to do that, but somehow some of them still find their way to being in front of you to have those conversations. And that's where I really that's where I struggle mentally, is having those conversations where it's just like, I just want to be your friend. And I would say that's been the biggest struggle mentally the whole way through, from day one to day right now.
Well, I'd say that's a lot to do with the interpersonal side of you as well, is that you do want, you've cultivated your success off connecting with people and helping or making them or helping them help you. And like what you said, you always want to do better, but that's obviously been trickling through your staff. If you own 8 salons and
100%, like you can't have that many. I have 110 hairstylists that work for me. And at the end of the day, we're not like breeding people to stay with us forever. We're breeding them to go on and do bigger and better than what we ever could. And I always say that in my staff meetings, when I'm like doing workshops and stuff, it's a mistake to try and make people stay with you. You should be giving them the tools and the knowledge to leave and be better than you could ever make them. And I think right now I'm at an interesting time in my business, because I think we're going to need to change our model. And I'm not going to say what to or how, but we went from a freelance model, and then we changed to an employee model. And now we have so many employees, and everyone wants to be paid more and all that kind of stuff, but they still want all the perks of being an employee with the paid leave and the education and all that kind of stuff. So that presents an opportunity for me to look at that and go, okay, how can I adapt, or how can I pivot to make my business stronger and have a bigger and better team.
You just said there, you don't employ people to work for you forever. You employ them to make them the best they can be.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I think and I used to do this as well, and sometimes I still catch myself doing it, is if someone leaves, you get so caught up in like, oh, but I gave them so much. Yeah, like, yes, you did, but someone also gave you so much. My ex-employers were really, really good to me. And they gave me so much, and all that stuff they gave me, I use every day still, and that I'm forever grateful. But I just think the more you give, the more you'll get back times 10. It might not be from them, but it will be in some other way from someone else.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Give unconditionally. And it's really hard to do that when you already do a lot, but if you do it, it'll just get returned. And back, like, even on the mental health thing, like, I go to therapy once every couple of weeks as well to just chat about shit. And it's such as like being empathetic and you know, when you're struggling to be empathetic, you should do it even more, because then like you'll find that it will help you more. It's the same thing with when the staff not want more, but when you're doing more and giving more and like making sure that they're okay, making sure that they're better. It might feel like you're doing a lot at the time, but eventually it'll get returned, I think.
Yeah, unreal. I was going to say something to you there, and my mind went blank because you are just so open and honest, and it's so endearing to hear. Oh, what it was is, how do you go from, oh no, it's gone again. Sorry, I just can't stop thinking about what you said about just everything about and being so honest. It was about your staff. I'm gonna have to edit all of this out. I wanted to ask, oh, what is it? My mind does this all the time because I'm like listening to everything, and then I get really emotionally attached to like one thing someone says, and then I go off on like a little tangent. Oh, it's gone. Okay, right. It might come back to me. Anyway, so you were saying there, oh, no, now I remember. It wasn't about your staff at all. You mentioned there about being in debt and that you don't care about that.
Yeah.
How do you have such a fearlessness about being in debt?
That's a great question. I don't know if I can answer it, but it's a means to my goals, right? So like I've got credit cards, I've got business loans, I've got a mortgage, like I've got car loans, all of it. All that debt, all those credit cards allow me to have what I want, and to enjoy life. You know, in an ideal world, I would love to have no debt and own my property outright and all that kind of stuff. But that's not the reality of today, you know. And if I wasn't to be in debt, I'd probably only still have one salon. And for me, that just wouldn't be enough.
I'm a big believer of like owning debt, and debt can be good.
Yeah.
How did you come across that idea?
I guess it's just always been about like what income we have coming in versus what's going out. So, you know, as long as I could fund that debt, because like this is my thing, like to get a mortgage in Australia, you need a 20% deposit. The average medium house price in Sydney City for a one bedder is like $800,000, right? So then I've got to fucking save up 20% of that, which is 160 grand. How the fuck am I going to do that? 160K in the next 10 years, you know? And it's just like, why should that be the case when you can service a loan to pay that money off? Like, that's not fair. And I believe it, you know, it's my belief that the government does things like that to stop the poorer from stepping up and the richer to get richer. So that's why I'm happy to be in debt so I can get ahead. And it's that being in debt is the way I get ahead. So I can take a step up each time, you know?
That's so important. And I feel like a lot of people are going to learn something from that, because death, scary as it is something that should be a little bit more widely accepted, because you are a true example of how that is clearly working.
For now, no.
For now. I love it. Jay, I've like really appreciated all of the just really open and honest things that you've shared. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. I can't believe we've already hit the time limit.
Yeah, that was quick.
That was really, yeah, I know, the time disappears. I would love, I don't know if you've watched any of the other podcasts, but the whole idea of this was meant to be that I would do hair with the person that I'm interviewing, and we would,
oh yeah, no way.
We would create a look, and we'd talk as we have been throughout, and it's just like a real chilled out thing, and we create a look, talk about what we're doing, but also just like have the chats the way we have been, and then at the end do a little photo shoot, do a little bit of a videography, edit it.
Yeah.
If in the near future or in the distant future when you are in Ireland, or if I'm in Australia, and we can make that become a thing, I would love to do that with you. I think it'd be a really
I would
cool
love that. For sure. That'd be so fun.
Good. Okay, Jay, look, thank you so much, man. I'll stay in contact with you, and just everything that you've shared, how open and honest you've been, and some insights into how to get ahead is they've been really good. And I'm definitely going to go and think about everything that we've just talked about and go open 10 salons, and then I'll message you and let you know.
Cool. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Jay, thank you so much. You're an inspiration. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Cracky.